So this is day 2 of YouTube jail, and I was watching some political videos, and I was watching Lying Brian, Moron Tyler, colon, and I was watching how I was mansplaining for like 5 minutes a simple concept to his audience and possibly me, because possibly I'm the only one that watches his sorry ass. And he is constantly insulting the right-wing voters, that they're undiscerning rubes, and then he switches it up to saying that actually the Republican Party and Donald Trump, they use rhetoric that is far above our heads, and that they have no respect for us and we should get mad, and so on and so forth. But he was explaining this concept for like 5 minutes. The concept was the biraciality of Kamala Harris, the disastrous president to be, with the same money that you could do this in 2020. And it seems that everybody's going to vote for her, even though she just face planted like several times. Now she has no platform. I mean that she has no policies. She started copying the right-wing policies, like no tax on tips and fracking in Pennsylvania. And now she came up with another thing. She says she's gonna give freedom, and she's fighting for freedom. Her fight is for tomorrow, the future, and yet people are starving. And in addition, her running mate.
These are people, these are Minnesota residents during COVID who were out on their porch, and the governor sent troops, riot cops out to shoot paintballs at them. It's like The Last of Us.
Let's go! Light them up! Go inside now! Get in the house!
You okay? Right on the crotch.
Yeah, oh God, that hurt. Right in the crotch, one of them says.
What's his face? Jim Walz, whatever the fuck his name is. I saw footage when police in Minnesota were using paintballs and shooting at civilians on their own porches to get inside during COVID. So that was excessive lockdowns. And now he wants to be the vice president. So you have a super extreme leftist, and then you have this dictator, Tim Walz, who basically almost did martial law type shit on his citizens, and now he wants to be the VP. They're telling us that Project 2025 is going to basically make everyone, I guess, subservient to the state, or like vassal to the state, or I don't know, I can't find the words. Basically, you be a slave to the state, or you be beholden to the state. And they're criticizing Project 2025, which is an idea, is not even implemented, but both Schlamla and Tim Walz already have it on their record that they already did atrocious things. And there may be atrocious policies, let's put it that way. Kamala raised money to bail out criminals, and Tim Walz used to shoot paintballs at people to keep them inside. This is who's going to be the president and the vice president. So I guess we're fucked. So now here's more on Tyler Cohen twisting himself into a pretzel, trying to mansplain what biracial means and how the Republicans are trying to drive a wedge in between Kamala Harris and her audience. And now here's more on Tyler Cohen twisting himself into a pretzel, trying to mansplain to his audience what biraciality is. And he also continues by attacking the Republicans, basically for trying to mislead their audience by calling their audience rubes and undiscerning, when in fact he's kind of projecting what he's doing to his own audience that are following him blindly, like drones programmed by the queen bee moron Tyler Cohen.
Okay, so that was Byron Donalds claiming throughout this entire interview that, again, just reiterating Donald Trump's attack. Here's the crux of what Byron Donalds is trying to say. The crux of what he's trying to say is that because just basically diffusing responsibility onto the AP by saying, okay, well, the AP said that she was the first Indian American U.S. Senator, and so it's not us saying the slur, and by slur he means denying Kamala Harris's background. He's saying it's just the AP. The AP wrote the headline, which is true, that Kamala Harris is the first Indian American to get elected to the U.S. Senate, but it's not being said in the same context of how Donald Trump and Byron Donalds are saying it. The AP headline merely explained that she would be the first person that has Indian American heritage to serve in the U.S. Senate. That was the focus of that article. There wouldn't be an article describing a first if they just talked about the fact that she was black, because she wouldn't be the first black U.S. Senator. So the point of the article was, look, this is a barrier that's been broken. We're going to talk about the fact that she has Indian American descent. The fact that she has Indian American descent is not mutually exclusive to the fact that she's also black. So the AP article wasn't written in exclusion of her blackness. It was just basically touting the virtues of the fact that she is also Indian American. So again, doesn't mean that she's not black. It just means that the historic part was that someone of Indian American descent was elected to the U.S. Senate. So this is not the same as Donald Trump and his mouthpieces trying to erase Kamala Harris's ethnicity as a way to drive a wedge between her and her target voters. That's what they're trying to do. And they're trying to conflate these two things. They're trying to say, well, there was an AP article that said that she was Indian American, and so that must be the same thing as us saying that she's not black. That's not how it works. The AP article was pointing out that half of her heritage, the fact that she was half Indian American, not black, but half Indian American, is the fact that it somehow precludes her being black, and that's not how it works. But these people think that their audience is so dumb, and that's really the irony of all of this. It's the contempt that they show for their audience, because anybody watching right now, there are a lot of you watching right now, you can see that if the AP article is talking about a biracial person and extolling the virtues of someone's heritage that would be historic in the U.S. Senate and not talking about the other half of their ethnicity, but just the one half, we can all recognize that that doesn't erase the other half of that heritage. It is just celebrating the half that is historic. But these people think their audience is so dumb, they treat them with so much contempt, like Byron Donalds is doing here, that he thinks he can just cast off his racism by basically just pointing to some AP article that we all know what it means. Like, there's not a single person watching this right now who would think that the AP was trying to say that Kamala Harris isn't black. We all understand the concept of biraciality. We all live in America. This is one of the most diverse countries in the world. We can recognize when someone is both Indian American and black, and extolling the virtues of one half of that does not erase the other half. And of all people who should be able to recognize the very simple concept of diversity in this country, it's a black guy. It's Byron Donalds. Of all people, he should be able to recognize that. But instead, the only important thing in the Republican Party is just listening to what Donald Trump says and then groveling at his feet by taking whatever he says as sacrosanct. And so Trump makes fun of a black woman and denies her background. And then you have this guy who has so little dignity, even as a black man in America, so little dignity and so much blind devotion to Donald Trump that even he will carry on this exact racist attack that Donald Trump was carrying out in the first place and show up on national television and pretend. I mean, that's what he's doing. He's playing make-believe. Pretend that Kamala Harris somehow isn't black, and then every time he says that, lean on this crutch that is an AP article that never said she wasn't black, but instead just extolled the virtues of her Indian American heritage. So it is just a joke all around. He also uses this as an opportunity when he knows he's caught, because George Stephanopoulos isn't dumb. He calls out what Byron Donalds is doing immediately and every time. And so Byron Donalds knows that he can't stay on this topic, and we'll get to that in a moment. But what he does is he uses this as an opportunity to pivot to the border.